What's up, guys? It's your boys, Stay the Course, a.k.a. the greatest band you never heard of.
Yeah, you never heard of us because we never put out our music, man.
Yeah, what he said. Blake and Jake, a.k.a. Team Blake Up.
Team Blake Up, yes, sir.
First podcast type shit.
Yeah. Podcast type beat.
I don't even know what we're doing, honestly, but we gonna run it.
Full send it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So...
What are we supposed to do? Tell the people what they want?
Yeah.
What do they want to know? Should I turn my phone down? I guess.
Yeah, I should probably do that.
Alright, let's turn our phones down. So, anyway, welcome to the podcast, as he aforementioned. This is the place for your knowledge to be gained from us for the band.
What?
No, I'm just playing. Let's hop into it, bro. So, Blake, I want to hear from your side, because I know how it happened on my side. Like, I want to hear your side of the story of how we met.
Well, I've told the story multiple times, but not, like, publicly, I guess you could say.
Not to the fans.
Not to the pubs.
Wait, we have fans?
No, not really.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So...
Let me get a coaster. I'm getting a little parched over here.
So, is that good? Yeah, I probably get some water too, honestly.
Yeah, get a little parched. Hold on, guys. He's going to tell us the story once he gets unparched. He has to hydrate.
Alright. So, back in the old days, like, as in, like, 6 years ago, right?
Yeah, it's about, we put the song out, what, like 2015? So I'm going to say
Lost Generation? I mean...
Did we work on it for a year? No.
Not Lost Generation.
Yeah, it was Lost Generation.
We're just going to cut that out. No, that shouldn't...
That song's never been there.
Yeah, it's never existed.
Yeah, but we put that out, yeah. So 2015, yeah.
But, so I didn't really have a drum set at that time, I don't think. I think I sold my drum set.
A terrible mistake, really.
And, me and Eddie, we were living together, and, with my dad, actually. And, we would, in order to play together, we would go to Guitar Center, and, I would play in the electric kit, and he would bring an acoustic guitar over, and then we would, jam out or whatever. And then sometimes I'll just, like, listen to him play, or on, like, the cool new amps and shit. But one day, we used to go, we used to go on Tuesdays to Guitar Center. And I believe we went on a Thursday, randomly went on a Thursday or something. We're like, fuck it, let's just go again this week, 'cause I think we already went on Tuesday. But, and then I was listening to Eddie play, like, in, like, the guitar section area. And then I just hear some, like, either, I don't know if it was, like, some, like, chorusy type, like, riff, or if it was just, like, some shredding shit. But, I mean, it sounded good, and I was like, damn. I look at Eddie, I was like, yo, you hear that over there? Like, those two dudes over there? That sounds fucking good. And he was like, oh, shit, yeah, they do sound really good. And then we're like, oh, whatever, I'm just gonna keep watching you play, pretty much. And all of a sudden, I'm just, like, watching Eddie play, and then all of a sudden I just feel like a tap on my shoulder, pretty much. And then I turn around, and it's Jake, and he's like, hey, man, what's up? And I was like, hey, it was like, blah, blah, blah. Then he's like, oh, so you play guitar? And he was like, yeah. He's like, oh, cool. Let me see something, or whatever. And I honestly don't remember how the conversation went word for word, but that's pretty much how it went. And Eddie played some shit, and then Jake's like, damn, that's pretty good. You want to be in a band?
Yeah, it was that simple, man.
And then he was like, sure. And then he's like, all right, so what do you do? And I was like, I play drums. He was like, oh, that's kind of what we need too. So let's see what you can play. So I go to electric kit, and I start playing, I think it was like Whitewashed or some shit, just like the beginning.
It was definitely Whitewashed.
It was just like the first like 15 seconds I started playing. He's like, all right, stop. All right, cool. So do you want to be in a band? He's like, that's all I needed to see. But I was like, yeah, but I don't really like play that much anymore, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, I didn't lose the passion for it. It's just, it
was dormant.
Yeah, it was super dormant. It was just stagnant, I was just playing to play, which is, for pleasure, but I wasn't, like, super... I was serious, but not, like... I don't know, it's hard to explain. I just, weed and shit. Bad times.
You
just
get lazy sometimes.
yeah.
I feel you.
Back in the old days when I was a chillin'. But yeah. I mean, then we went to Chick-fil-A after and
Goated.
hammered it out, and then we met Quincy there too. We met up with Quincy at Guitar Center, and that's how it. And then that ended, and then we met up with Tavis at Guitar Center, and then that
band
ended.
is sponsored by Psych. I can't say that we're not actually sponsored.
And then we met Ben at Guitar Center.
Yeah, we met everybody at Guitar Center. So from my perspective, it was so funny because again, like
yeah, I don't think I've ever heard it from your perspective.
Marcus is the lead guitarist. He and I have known each other since we were like 13. And at this time, I believe his guitar had gotten stolen from his car, so they busted his windshield, like went and stole his guitar, his amp, had his GED in it. So this was like right after we graduated, so probably about 2014, 2015, around that time. So what we would do, because I still had a guitar, but it's not like I had two guitars, but the thing is Marcus is left-handed, so he couldn't really play my guitar at the time.
Yeah.
Mind you, now he can flip a right-handed guitar over and still play because he's a beast. But we just go to Guitar Center every so often just to have him play. And it was almost like a weekly thing as well as for you guys. But we would never go on Thursday. I think our day was Friday. But we were passing by, and he was just like, bro, just go to Guitar Center. I was like, why? He was like, I don't know. I'm just feeling it. I was like, all right, whatever, dude. Like, we had nothing better to do. So we just walked in, man. And, we hear Eddie playing. He's playing some song. I want to say he's playing like some of Mice and Men. And we're like, oh, I mean, he's good. Yeah. He's good at it, but it's like, it's of Mice and Men. No shades of Mice and Men. Like, they're good. Like, I love their music. But to us, it was just like he's not playing anything that he created, So it was like we can't tell if you're a good composer. You're technically proficient, but I don't know if you're a good composer or like as a musician. You know what I'm saying? That's just my thought process of it. Because there wasn't any embellishments. I know oftentimes like same thing in the realm of like classical, like you play what's written there, but some people actually change it up a little bit, and I find that very interesting. However, I was listening and I was like, yo, I mean, he sounds good or whatever. So that's when we sat down and Marcus and I started playing a song. I can't even remember what song it was at the time. We just started playing some of our own stuff, and so we kind of look over and Eddie kind of looks back at us and switches up, and we're like, what the heck? He starts playing this epic riff, and I'm like, yo, what is that? And Marcus is like, no, he sounds good. And he's like, yo, what is that? We're like, yeah, what is that? He's like, oh, that's my own stuff. And we're like, huh, that's crazy. Mind you, let me get some background. At this point in time, I was doing both vocals and guitar for the band. I was rhythm guitar and vocalist. So I really, at that point in time, wanted to free up some space and let me just do vocals to round myself out as a musician. I'm not even a great vocalist now, but I'm better than what I was. So I was like, bro, you want to be in a band? He was kind of like, yeah. But I was like, man, let's see if you really got the chops. So Marcus was like, yeah, let's see. So he was like, all right, play some stuff. They ran it through. And then I was like, dang, yeah, man, he should be in the band. And, I didn't really, make it 100%. And I was like, well, Marcus, you do this, man. You figure this out because you're the lead guitarist. This guy's going to be rhythm if he's playing. So, you guys need to vibe. And I was like, man, yeah, we're looking for a guitarist and a drummer. And at that moment in time, Eddie points at Blake and is like, my best friend's a drummer. And I was like, no way, that's exactly what we need, And I was like, all right, let's see what he's got. And I was like, Marcus, you handle this. We'll go over to the drum section, see if this kid's got chops, whatever. Mind you, I mean, though I am a vocalist and a guitarist, I was in drumline for a little bit, so I know a little bit about rudiments and stuff. I'm not a fucking drummer, but my brother was a drummer, so I do know how drums work. So I was like, all right, let's see. And I was like, my favorite song at the time for drums was definitely Whitewash by August Burns Red, so that's how I know it was definitely that song I had him play, because I just love that drum intro for some reason. For me, it's iconic. So I was like, yeah, man, let's see if you can play it. He was like, yeah, I can play it. And I was like, this guy is BS, and I definitely thought he was bullying. I definitely thought he was bullshitting me, but he put the headphones on, and he's playing an electric kit, mind you, so I can't even hear the song in his headphones, but I know what the song sounds like by heart, and this dude's in the pocket, playing it perfectly, and I'm like, bro, stop right there, bro. He played the intro, and I was just like, stop. So it was ironic because me, or excuse me, grammatically correct would be Marcus and I both got up at the same time and met in the center of Guitar Center and looked each other dead in the eye and at the exact same time said, "Dude, he's in the band." It was like a movie. Like I cannot. It was like a movie or like a sitcom or something. It was like a TV show, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "Wait, what? He's in the band?" I was like, "Yeah, he's in the band." It was like, "Well, I need to hear," and I'm like, "Well, I need to hear." So we switched. And so we're like, "Yep, that's it." So I mean, the rest is history, honestly, from that. But it was just kind of, it was organic, man. It was like you can't make this stuff up. Like it was great. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Definitely one of those moments that's like an aha moment because for a long time, the band that Marcus and I had was by a completely different name, and originally that band started with 7 members and then went down to me and him, or him and I, and we just kept making music, even though it was just he and I.
What was it again?
It was Someday Sooner.
Oh yeah.
Which I'll probably use still for like a side pop punk project, like a side project. But so look out for that one day. But
Someday Sooner.
Yeah, I'll probably be. I see what you did there. So it's probably gonna be like Eddie and I or something. We'll figure it out. But yeah, man. So it was crazy. I was like, these dudes were just waiting around. It was kind of crazy because those days we weren't like, that day specifically, we weren't out to find. But like at that time, like we had already been through like, what, 5 different people to try to play guitar, but it just wasn't working. So we weren't really looking at that moment. So it was kind of crazy how it worked out that way. We kind of almost gave up. Like it was unspoken that we're like, yeah, whatever, man. I guess it's just gonna be us kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'll play guitar and sing, and you play guitar, and we'll call it a day. But it just worked out so beautifully. So then the next thing was bass, and then I remember, I had an old friend, not my friend anymore, rip. I had an old friend from high school, and she was dating this guy, and I was like, man, this dude looks cool. He was screaming or something. I was like, this dude seems cool. She was like, yeah, he plays bass. And I was like, oh, let me meet him. So I met him up at Guitar Center. I was like, all right, bet. So threw him in there. We had a go team, We went to the studio. We wasted no time. It was like we taught you guys like one song and immediately went to the studio. And I remember like
Lost Generation. I didn't even practice
this man didn't practice it. Like this man came in, didn't practice it, took 2 takes and had that thing done. And I was like, what? And if I remember right, he took a second take only because his stick dropped.
Yeah.
But this man did not practice whatsoever.
I mean, it was an easy song though, but
again, he was locked in though. I'm gonna tell you, it was an easy song. Maybe you'll hear it one day. Probably not, but
yeah, probably. It's still on YouTube, I think.
Yeah. Nah, we'll just re-release it.
Yeah, let's make it better.
Let's make it better. Make a quick song. Let's just do that with.
It's just that radio rock,
It was that dad rock for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was for us, for Marcus and I. It was just to gauge the what's the word, proficiency of each individual instrumentalist, because that was the easiest song that we had in the repertoire at the time and in the catalog. So we were just like, hey man, like let's just teach him this. This one's easy. Ironically, I made the lead riff to that song, but I was in a really toxic relationship at the time, and the person I was in the relationship with was like, you need to spend more time on us and not music. And so I basically made a promise I wouldn't make songs during that time, which is stupid and I'll never do that again. So I basically made the riff, sent it off to Marcus, and was like, hey dude, like finish this song up for me. And he did, and the rest is history. Once the probation period or whatever it was done, I then listened to what he sent me and started writing the lyrics or whatever. But this isn't about that. But that's kind of how that went down.
It's crazy how like whenever like good like the best things happen when you're not looking for it, or like or like expecting something, or like us all meeting, like we didn't, like we neither of us were looking for like a band or
exactly
just like anything like that in general. It's just usually like that's when the best things happen.
Right, it happened so organically again, and I'm so grateful and thankful because at the end of the day, like I would rather not have anyone else in these positions that you guys are filling, just specifically because on top of it, it's cool if you're a great musician, but you gotta be a great person. But you also have to have that chemistry. We have to vibe, and we do.
Yeah, for sure.
And I really feel like, God, I miss playing shows so much.
Dude.
By the way, big shout out to everybody who came out, and big shout out to everybody who didn't come out because you were there in spirit. I'm sure we appreciate you. But dude, that energy, I feel like that chemistry that we all share is felt by everyone else in the room, not just the music. Like aside from the music, just the way like we'll look at each other and smile or laugh while we're playing, as if like
yeah,
we're in our element. I feel like we're in our element. We're doing this thing, and it's like we can all share and vibe off that same wavelength. It's crazy to me because like you'll see Blake and Eddie joke back and forth while playing the stuff, or you'll see Ben and Eddie like laughing it up.
Yeah.
Or Marcus will look at Ben and just be like, "Hey, here's the hit, here's the hit, here's the hit," and he'll just do some random bouncy stuff while playing. And it's just hilarious. And then me, I'll just look back and be like, "Ooh," and just make the nasty face when Blake does something great. I'm just like, I was making the nasty face. It's kind of funny. Like, I don't want to say we do forget the crowd, but in a sense we do.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not doing this for y'all. Like, I'm glad you enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, but like, I'm having fun with my homies. Like, I'm doing what I love with the people I love, you know? Like, and that's what it boils down to for me. I also think that, man, the energy that the crowd did give back, bro, was insane that night.
At Skylark?
At Skylark, bro. Skylark. Shout out to Skylark. Shout out to everybody over there. You guys are amazing. Thank you for letting us play in your venue. You guys are awesome. Definitely want to come back when all this stuff is over with. I don't know, man. That, for me, I'm always, when I start the set, I don't know if you guys could hear, you probably could. I'm so nervous for some reason. I have like momentary stage fright, if that makes sense. Like, the first 30 seconds of the first song of the first set, I am terrified. But after that 30 seconds is done, it's OV. And then I start feeding off the energy from the crowd and from my boys, and it just becomes...
My job's easy. Is I'm pushed back in the back, no one looking at me and shit. Maybe like my girlfriend or something. But
right.
Like
the only person that looks at you is Malia and Jake, because Jake will look at you and be like, "Ooh, that was nasty."
He's like, "Oh shit, I forgot you played that."
Yeah, bro. Honestly, that was another thing. No cap, guys. Like, you guys don't understand. We practice in an environment that's not the best. Like, we practice in our house or whatever, and we've always practiced in like a garage or a house or something. And for what, maybe 3 or 4 years, I didn't even have a PA system, so like I couldn't even hear myself half the time we were practicing.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then also like the balance and EQ of everything, like the amps weren't right. It was just terrible. You couldn't hear anything except for cymbals, essentially.
Yeah.
So
and bass and mud.
Yeah. So like, to Skylark, when we played, like, to hear how we actually sound with everything leveled was mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Because I thought we sounded this way, but we didn't. We sounded a lot better than what I thought.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just that's not just from a personal opinion. Actually, other people told us we sounded really good. So I was like, nah, that's awesome. That's wonderful to hear.
Yeah, I was, like when Linda was like, she's just like, why does that sound? Because we used to practice in her house whenever I lived at home. She's like, why does that sound like better than whenever I heard it? I was like, because you can hear everything, and everything's
leveled out.
Yeah, leveled, and everything's on its has its own space and stuff like that. But
let's talk about this, man. Since they got the background of how we all met, let's talk about this project we got coming out finally, man. Like, this thing, bro. I am excited to get it out to you guys.
What?
So
Which one?
This project, bro. The project? What do you mean?
What? I mean,
what project?
The EP or the new project?
The EP.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that shit gone. I mean, we've been done with that shit, but
like, I know, but I'm excited to finally get it to you guys.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Let's talk about that, because that was definitely
Bro, that's a road.
That was a whole journey.
It was a highway.
It was a road that we had to stay the course on, you know?
Damn, yeah. I mean, we didn't stray from the path.
We did not. We're gonna get sued. Oh man, I kicked the mic. Whatever, bro.
Yeah. That. I mean, it didn't. I mean, you tell me. I mean, most of the songs were pretty much like you and Marcus had like a skeleton idea of what you wanted to do. How much did they actually change from the start, when I think either you or Marcus wrote most of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did it change from start to the end of it?
So I definitely Reality was like, I think that was like one of the first ones.
Yeah, makes sense.
Reality was like, originally, we play in drop C sharp, by the way. Originally, Reality, we were so like, not quote unquote ahead of our time, but I noticed a lot of people just keep tuning lower and lower and lower nowadays. So we were in like drop A sharp at the time on a 6-string with like the intonation, if you're a guitarist, you know what that means, being absolute trash. So basically spaghetti as strings, and the original composition was in that tuning was in drop A sharp, which changes the key of the song. So it was singing a lot lower. So also now, like, it pushed me as a vocalist to get better and extend my range, because now it's in C sharp. However, Yeah, Reality had two parts. Like for that not the bridge, but the build up to the first little breakdown. Those two parts, there's a polyrhythm in there. There's two parts that are over top of each other, and originally it was just one part, and then you fade it into the next part. Mm-hmm. Now it's like two parts over top, and then everybody meets up in the middle at the second part of it. That's a big change. A huge change that happened was when Eddie got a hold of learning all the songs. He basically made all the endings of the songs just more brutal for no reason. He just came and was like, yeah, let's just make a little hint of deathcore or something, you know?
I mean, the whole EP is just like fucking like
balls to the wall.
Yeah, go.
It's just go, which is cool. But I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to more dynamics in our future stuff. However, don't get me wrong, there's still dynamics within that go. Everything.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's what we definitely 100% focus on a lot of is arrangement and making sure that that energy is not lost. Throughout the track. And so basically the hardest part was figuring out, okay, like he's trying to make these endings, let's make sure they work, you know, with what we got. And I mean, of course, that's when we found out, like, you know, Eddie's phenomenal, like Blake's phenomenal, they're phenomenal. Like they made it and he slapped it on there and I was like, yeah, no, that fits, that works. So I mean, the thing is too, like, you said how much did it change? They changed a lot, man. They changed a lot.
That's why I asked.
They got to a point where, honestly, I remember I specifically said, let's stop. Stop right here. Stop touching it. Because if we keep messing with it, they're not the same song.
Or it's never going to be done.
It's never going to be done, and it's never going to be the same song. We have to stay true to the same feeling of the song. But I would definitely say they changed about 30% of how the song sounded. Not 30% of the EP, but 30% of each song was definitely different from how it originally started. It's so funny. I found an Instagram video of Thorn originally, and Marcus was like, we didn't know how good you guys were, and Marcus was like, good luck teaching Eddie that.
Damn.
And I was like, dang, like, I gotta teach Eddie that? That's crazy. But I smile because I'm like, this kid plays it like no problem. It's easy.
Oh, for sure.
It's so easy.
Even the drums changed a lot from start to finish.
Dude, do you remember when you were trying to learn Reality? Yeah. Because that was the thing too. That's the thing too. Like, you guys, I'm very thankful that you guys, when we did give you creative freedom of these songs, because like these were our songs, you know, and I'm not trying to be like an a-hole about it, but it was like, we don't want them to change much, but we also, you're part of the band, so you need to be able to touch and change them. The thing is like, that really, you know, what's the word, got us excited was that they stayed true to the feeling of the song. Regardless of what changes they made, those 30%, they stayed true to the feeling of the song, and they didn't go out of left field with it just to be like, oh, I'm great, let me show off my proficiency, which a lot of people do, are like, oh, the songs should sound this way. No, you respected, like, okay, nah, that's what these guys made, this is the sound they want to go for. And you both, like, did your thing on that. That's amazing to me. Like, I'm really thankful for that, because I remember, man, like, even learning, I remember when you were learning that little snare count, the little snare coming back in on Reality killed you for 2 hours straight. That's when I found out Blake was like a beast. Like, that's when I found out Blake was about that life, because Blake was there, man. He was in there. Like almost a whole practice. This man was practicing one part of the song until he got it, and he almost threw a stick at the wall. He was so upset.
I was not stopping until I got it.
And this man was in there, and I was like, okay, he's got the passion. Like, I don't have to question it. He's got it. Like, he's about that life. I'm honestly tired of talking, so definitely tell me what was the hardest parts for you to learn of these songs? Oh, wait. At this point, you didn't even tell them how you got a drum set, because we just were at, like, Guitar Center, and now all of a sudden you're playing drums, but you didn't have a drum set. You sold it. Like, how did you get a drum set?
Well, so, I mean, so when I graduated high school, my dad wanted to get me something for graduation. So, you know how parents usually do that shit. Well, some parents do that shit. I was lucky enough for my dad to do that, but it was like on graduation, like the day, like that day, like we were driving home. It was like late, and he pulled in the Guitar Center, and I was like, what are we doing here? He's like, I don't know, let's just go inside and look around. He's like, I just want to mess around with some like guitars and stuff like that. I was like, okay, cool.
Oh yeah, because Pops plays guitar.
Yeah, and I was like, all right. And then we go in and we're just looking around. He's like, well, let's go in the drum section. And I was like, okay. So we go in the drum section, and I'm looking around. I was like, damn, this one's fucking nice. And like, because I never really looked at the acoustics like seriously, you know, like actually wanting, you know, like
because you had an electric kit at the time, right?
yeah, but well, yeah, pretty much. I had an electric kit. It was like a really shitty one, and then I had like a $300 like Ludwig kit that I started on. You know, playing on it for like 5 years at that point. I think 5 or 6 years, and he was so which one do you want? And I was like, what? He was like, which one do you want? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, I was like, what do you mean? He's like, pick one. And I was like, that one? Like, I chose like the cheapest one. He's like, sure. And I'm like, wait, what about this one? And
trying to
it's
see
like,
how high you can
yeah.
go.
And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, wait, yeah. But so then I got the DW Concept Maple kit. I think it was like $1,400 or $1,200 at the time. Yeah, I was like,
drums are expensive.
he's like, you need stands too, right? And I was like, yeah. I was so hyped because it was like, I think he was just trying to, because like I think he bought my sister a car for graduation or some shit.
Nice.
So he was like, this isn't,
anywhere near.
But still.
But honestly, the value of that is
it's far, yeah.
That's an investment.
But he was like, and I was like, yeah, and he's like, you need cymbals too, right? And I was like, are you serious right now? Like, I wasn't like, I did not expect that at all.
Right.
It was super cool. That's probably like the craziest shit ever, honestly.
Bro, I remember talking to Pops, and he was like, I remember talking to Papa Quinn. He was like, yeah, man. I was like, yo, that's awesome that you bought him that. He was like, yeah, man, anything to get him back behind a drum set. And I was like, okay. And then, like, once we started our practices, like, I saw what he meant. Like, because he said that. He said anything to get him back behind a drum set. And then he followed it up, like, a dramatic pause. And he's like, that's where he belongs. And I was like, wait. And then we started playing, and I was like, yo, this kid's fucking ridiculous. And I remember I'm like, yo, when's the last time you actually played? And you're like, it's been like a few years since I got serious about it. Like, I'm pretty rusty. And I was like, this is you rusty? I can't wait to see like when your chops are like back on. But yeah, man, like, what was the hardest part for you learning these songs particularly?
What do you mean the hardest part, as in like? I don't know. I mean,
it's all easy to play now. It's probably hard to think back.
the hardest part was because in Thorn, it's like it's just like a run pretty much up until the tired of watching as it is that no it's Reality.
Decays and Dies is Thorn, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Thorn. Okay, that part.
Yeah.
And before it was just like some like weird bullshit that didn't flow well.
Yeah, it didn't flow at all.
I think that was the hardest one, because that's when I started pushing into like the next like level, I guess, like starting the next level of like skill, I guess you could say.
Right, and you started composing for that next level.
Yeah.
Because like originally we had some I remember we would just like oh, it should sound like. Yeah. We just like beatboxing, and you're just like, what?
Yeah, that was probably the hardest one, because it's like it's hard. I can't really explain it. Over here.
No, it makes sense. But that's crazy. For me, I think you guys don't know how much you guys helped me as a musician, as a person. I mean, like, the Brotherhood Strong, you guys helped me out so much. Like, there was a time, like, I wasn't confident. You guys don't know this. All you guys hear is, like, what I sound like on record and live. And you're like, oh, this little kid sounds like a monster. Like, mind you, I'm, like, a whole 24. I'm not even a child, but I look like one because I'm so small. But you guys don't know. I remember, like, Blake and Eddie were pushing me. But, like, yeah, you have a good voice. Just be confident. Like, you guys were always pushing me. But, like, yo, like, do that thing. Like, sing. Like, project. Like, stop playing around. Like, I remember I was also trying to find my voice and, like, how I wanted to scream during that time. So I'm kind of glad we took the time for what we did, like, to hone our sound and craft our sound. Because, again, I was still trying to find my voice because it was kind of new to me. Again, like I originally said, was, like, I was doing vocals and guitar, and my main instrument's guitar, so I wasn't really focusing on the vocals. So now it's a completely different paradigm shift to where I have to focus on vocals because now I'm a vocalist. So you guys were pushing me and being like, yo, like, get better, and then not even in like a detrimental way, but in a place from love. You were like you sound good, the lyrics are good, you know, the melodies you gotta write, just sing that shit, just scream that shit.
We're like, you wrote it, fucking sing it like you wrote it.
Exactly. I remember like that thing was so funny. I think the Carry Her, man, I think that was the longest song that took to write because it had to be perfect, and more importantly, all I had was the little melody, the little whoa whoa whoas. You remember that?
Yeah.
Dude, we was in the garage, and all I could hear was like every time. I couldn't hear anything because it was going so fast. It's like what, 185, 190 something.
I think it's 180 now.
180,
yeah.
Cool. It's like close to 200, and I wasn't used to that. Like I like the person compose like 160. That's me personally.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if you check the order, it's probably near that 160 or 155.
I think it's like 155.
Yeah, probably around there. I like to go fast, but like not that fast. So it was crazy. All I could hear was like, whoa, you know, and that's all I could hear for that song. So that song took a long time to write because I couldn't even hear the melody for it because I think the guitars were doing so much melody that I didn't want to take away from that. So once I realized that, hey, let me just scream over top of all this melody, that's when the magic happened. I really think that we gel and mesh together well because of the juxtaposition we have. Like, you'll fill a pocket, especially rhythmically. Let's talk about that for a second. Rhythmically, like, you'll fill a pocket. Eddie will either fill that pocket with you, like, to match your bass, or he'll fill a different pocket, and then Ben will stay in that spot with Eddie as he should, and with you. He'll either choose one of you two to, like, stay with, because that's the whole rhythm section, you know? And then Marcus will just fill in, like, the accents of that. And then my vocals, if I feel any rhythmic space there that's not filled, I kind of approach it almost like a rapper in a sense. Like I still have a love for hip hop, even though we're doing metal music. I try to fill in those rhythmic pockets that are not filled. So I do think that's a huge reason why we meld together, because it's like we're not just playing, we're listening to one another, and it's like it's incredible, man. And you guys experience that every time we play live, and I just love it. What is your opinion on the EP? Let's get it out.
So I think that the EP is great. I think that it has an older sound to it.
For sure, but that's a reason.
But I mean, it's only because
songs were written like years ago.
But yeah, but what I'm really excited I'm really excited to get done is the new shit, that the album.
Yeah, the album.
The album's
gonna be lit. Y'all can't hear that though.
Cause it shows our progression. Yeah, and fucking 20 times over.
Right.
Like it's
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's definitely pushed me even further. I think cause whenever I before with the EP, I didn't I would just play it, and I'd probably forget it and then play something else over, and then eventually it'd be the same thing, but playing the same drums.
So you never wrote it?
No, I never wrote on paper, I guess, but from Jonathan is the one who showed me. He was like, dude, just MIDI it out. And I was like, that takes forever.
Right.
Oh, he's like, trust me, you'll get better at it, and then you'll get faster at it. So then I MIDI'd out the whole EP, and it took me 4 hours for one song.
Jesus.
And I already knew what the parts were,
Right.
But for the new album, I MIDI'd out the intro to the album and Martyr, and that took me an hour, at tops, and it's and then I just learned that, instead of just trying to. I mean, the organic and natural, when you're just playing it is cool, but I like to get the skeleton of what I was thinking,
that
and then
framework, right?
Because then I mean it could change. I could add stuff to it while I'm playing it if I'm feeling it, oh, that mid section, just play that, or add something that's cool. Then I did that I did with with Reality. We did that.
That's what I hate about you guys, but I love you guys for it. I want you guys to know, anytime that we play live, even in practice, these dudes, including myself, we never play exactly what's on record, because we always,
it's pretty much the same, but just like added flair.
Accents and flair and all that stuff is always there, specifically because these songs are so old and we've been practicing them for so long. Just a little preface, these songs are like 5+ years old, so that's why you're gonna hear, like, as we grow, you're gonna hear growth in our sound. We originally were gonna do this and then do, like, how we play currently, like compose how we play currently, but even the album, it's still newer stuff.
The album.
The album is still newer stuff. However, like, and we're revisiting old material and adding in new material. So it's not like all brand new everything. We just, what I'm saying, there's pieces and skeletons and frames from the back when we were like 19 or something. But that's what I want to be very particular about, is that you guys are gonna grow with our sound growing, if that makes sense. You're gonna hear how we through the ages grew as musicians, and I think that's a really good approach, because I definitely have heard from other people and other listeners of heavy music that feel like, oh, okay, like the sounds usually mature in a band, but quote unquote they're like, oh, they're getting softer, and nobody likes that. So I think we're gonna approach it in a different way, where it's like, okay, like, even if we do use less screaming and whatnot, you're still gonna hear the technical proficiency of the musicianship and the instrumentalists shine through and get better and better, and you're gonna grow with it. So I definitely am super excited about that, because the future is bright, man. I am hyped, because this EP, it's called Progenitor, if we didn't already tell you.
They'll know tomorrow.
They'll know tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, so if they didn't...
Actually, no. I think I said it. I posted it forever ago when we planned on just dropping the whole thing, rather than just one song at a time.
That's fine. Progenitor is a perfect name for it, because it's like, it's basically where a new artistic movement begins, and it's also like the genesis of something. Like, progenitor is like almost like your parent, like you were birthed out of the first. You see what I'm saying? So this is the first of many and more to come. This is where it starts. It's the beginning. So I'm excited, man.
Yeah, it's a good way. I mean, it is the beginning. I mean, I'm excited. I'm especially excited because I want the 3 songs that you havenent heard yet.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, man. Like, that's another thing. How did we end up voting on the singles? Because they're all, and this is also coming from one who is biased because I'm in the band, but I personally believe all those songs are dummy good. Like, I can't even be like, oh, it's super solid. No, like, all those songs are bangers. You know what I'm saying?
I think we released Rem. We wanted to give everyone the worst first, I think.
Yeah. It's so funny though. The worst is doing well though. Like, if that's the worst, like, it's hard to choose the worst. Like,
yeah, no, I know,
think that's just the simplest chorus. If you get me.
It's just like not the worst. You know what I mean? Just like
the easiest to digest. I think.
I don't know. Just like it's like, I don't know. Rem I mean, it's good, but it's just like follow. Thorn is really good. It's like heavier, but
they're easy to follow for sure.
But I think are the best ones.
You gotta say the best for last.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Reassembled and Carry Her and
man. Reality, bro. I was surprised we didn't put Reality out.
Oh, that's not out yet. Yeah.
Yeah, Reality was supposed to be a single. Oh yeah,
it was, because we have the artwork for it. Oh, I need to do that. Yeah. Reality
was originally supposed to be a single. That was probably gonna be the single first before we even decided to figure out the single. At least in my head and Marcus's head. Before we actually, started being like, oh, we're a band. We need to make, democracy and vote on things. Everybody has equal rights. Like, it's crazy. So we were kind of just like, but that's coming from a place because we were used to running it because it was just us.
Yeah.
So it boiled down to that. But now Reality is, I think, was my favorite song for the longest, specifically because this was the first time in my career where I wrote a melody, like a singing melody, over these crazy guitars that are just going wild, because a lot of times, like, singing melodies are over, like, chords that are chugging along and whatnot. But it was the first time where, like, I'm singing over a whole different melody that's going on. It's not just chord progressions. It's, like, an actual riff, and I'm singing over top of it. So for me, Reality was definitely that one that I was like, wow, like, I can do this. Like, I aspired to be able to do this, and now I did it. Like, now I know how to do this moving forward.
Yeah. Reality is definitely the most fun to play, I think.
Heck yeah. Oh man, that indie breakdown.
I know.
Oh.
That's what I was thinking about. But it's funny because when we were in the studio, it's like, okay, which song do you want to run through first? Reality. Everyone's was Reality first song to run through.
That's the first.
Because it's everyone, because that's the first one I think we started working on as a band.
As a band, yeah, that was the first one we started making changes to where like everybody has an equal say in
and
how
that
the
was
song
like
structures.
4 years ago. So.
Yeah. So everybody knows that song like I mean, we know all these songs like the back of our hands.
Yeah.
But that was the first, that was the progenitor, if you will. SAT word. Yeah, man. I don't know what else to say on this one. I think I've said what I got to say.
We can cut it right there. I mean, it's been.
I'm like, how long have we been talking?
40 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
I mean.
Have we been talking for 40 minutes?
I think so, yeah.
I put it on time. Go up to the thing.
It's right here, 40 minutes. 40, 42.
Bro, I'm trying to figure out why. Because I was like, how long does this have to be?
It doesn't it's just going to be as long as you want it to be.
I was just going ham, but I was just trying to talk, bro.
Bro, it's fine. That's what it is.
I can talk to you for a good hour straight if I have to.
Yeah, it's just, but next time we can have, we'll have everybody.
We'll have everybody on the show,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where we could post this at.
Bro, we can't.
Like SoundCloud or some shit? I don't know. Is that what they do?
YouTube, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, YouTube. That would work, right?
Yeah.
Wait,
can we go on our Spotify artist and just upload it as a podcast?
Can you do that?
I don't know. Let's Google it.
We're going to find out.
We just put it on
Anyway, this was just like the first podcast talking about like history and like how it all started and pretty much the progenitor, I guess you could say,
yeah.
the beginning.
The beginning of it all.
But next one we'll have probably everyone here.
Most likely.
We just can't talk over each other. That's the only thing I'm worried about with the next one.
We're just gonna be laughing around.
I know. Maybe we'll play like a little game or something.
What?
Anyway, that's it for us.
I'm sleepy. I'm gonna go take a nap.
Peace out.